on, geez, you're a bloody long way from home, mate.
Yeah, no, I live here now, mate.
Do you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Mate, where do you live?
River Hills. River Hills in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Griffo, you might have to take over commentary.
No, he's right this way.
Do we have to sign?
Hello, how are you?
Pretty good.
Do we have to sign in or no?
There is a sign in down on the back wall.
How are you? See ya.
Attendance sheet going around.
It's up the back of the books. So it means that there's
Can you go battery power for this half hour or Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Can you do it?
I can go back if I want.
yeah, or just if we move the tables forward. So just unplug it from the floor.
You only need one, don't you?
We can just leave.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't say much?
No. Hey, you're going to have trouble with this.
I need power. I need power.
Move the tables.
Yeah. Unless you got an extension.
Move
you
it.
got an extension cord?
Move the others down. No, I don't.
Nah.
One table is easier than three.
I'll need power because
Yeah.
if it goes for over 40 minutes, we need to stay on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
Hey? Oh yeah,
That's fine.
But he's the main one.
excuse me, Don, do you do requests? Hey?
Where are you going to sit?
Like the left. Like the left. The left. Anybody, eh? Like the left. Anybody, eh?
Oh, I'll go as much to the side, but. What? No, microphone. There's a microphone somewhere. Put him in his corner.
I can say that I've been yelling at.
It's not turned on. Yeah.
Which one are we doing
Chef. So one of each platters will be taken with the platters. We're going to do our best to get as close as possible. And if you guys are still going, I'll just come out to us. Not back to the sun. Okay, so if they're not in here, I'll take them.
Well, we should, because we'll still be doing the forum, so yeah. Yeah.
So if they know any drinks, take your own.
We'll have them do it. Yeah. If we just do it open and then we'll cut it. So just an open, but no, it's just beer champagne, no spirits, no anything. Cap it?
Yeah.
So just ask Bruce, just ask the treasurer what he wants to cap it out.
You want a soft drink? Or beers or bottle of tap beer? So all tap beer, all bottled beer, all house, all wines?
Yeah, there's a big 70 wine drinkers.
Did you want to name the function?
Everybody take their seats, please. Grab a seat.
Mine?
Testing.
Yeah.
Excellent. Grab a seat. So welcome everyone to the 2019 Asrl Agm. Great attendance here already. Emergency evacuation is just outside this door, and if it's needed. So we're going to be in here for, we don't know, maybe hour and a half. At the end of the meeting, there's going to be some platters that come through. We might eat them and mingle here if the timing's right. If we're finished early, we're always going to go next door into the sports bar there. We're going to have a tab and a few drinks and laughs next door. So it's a good venue now. So we'll run through a bit of a forum at the end of the meeting. So if we've got any questions outside of general business, we'll save them for the forum. Otherwise, we'll. All right. So just there's an attendance book at the back. If everyone can get to sign that. Also the apologies as well. We'll probably just take down. You want to yell out some apologies so we can just be reminded to add them.
Mike Cameron, the voter. I'm struggling at the moment, so he's not here.
Yep.
Rod Costa.
Rod Costa.
Nathan Perry.
Nathan Perry.
Elton Mackay.
Elton Mackay. Also Kim Marsh, Natalie Gardner, Steve Swain, and Steve Lewis. Apologies. Any other apologies? Okay, so first thing we'll do is kick off with business arriving from the previous minutes. If anyone can remember back to last year, if there's any items that anyone want to bring up from there, speak now. Nope. And any other relevant correspondence either as well? No? Okay. Someone to move that the previous minutes are accepted as true accurate. Move Don Cottrell, second Edwina Wright. Okay, next, so hopefully everybody's got a copy of the annual report up the back. We've also got a Asrl Queensland annual report up the back too, if you want to grab a copy of that. Edwina Wright has put this together. It's fantastic. It's probably the best we've seen. So thanks to Eddie for that. So what we'll probably do now is jump to Treasurer's report. So if anybody doesn't know Bristles is the treasurer, long-time treasurer of the Asrl. He'll come over here, give us a report on that.
Thanks, Michael. Well, basically, it's been another pretty good year for us. If you look at the report, we turned over 327,000, and we had expenses of 292, which gave us a surplus for the year of $34,847. A little bit down on the previous year.
Chris, Mike.
Sorry.
No, you're right.
Our sponsorship and donation funds were pretty similar to the previous. Our membership was up. And in the expenditure side, there's really some of the expenditure may look a little bit unbalanced when you go through the 3 years, but it's mainly because of the way invoices come in, and they might come in for 1 year and we're paying them the following year. So if you take an account over the 2 or 3 years, it averages out. Our biggest increase was the host club, $18,000 over the previous year. Trying to keep that one down. I mean, the last couple of years have been into Lura, and Sydney's more expensive all other towns, so you have to expect that you're going to pay a little bit more. But we did have one or two costs which we got out of hand. Hopefully we will fix that up for the following year, for this year. But all the other expenses were pretty much in line with what we budgeted for. Any questions?
I think just some of that additional expenditure that we had at the open, just to put a bit of clarity into the room, we were up a fair bit on what we spent on our officials in regards to the food they got. And I know that the last night they were eating prawns and oysters and having a fair old good times. I don't think that we need to feel bad about spending money on our officials who do such a great job for us. So that was one of the areas that we blew out in from previous years, was food and beverage on our officials.
Any questions?
Zombie out his share, he's responsible for the increase in the beverage.
Do you want the mic out?
Metals and trophies.
Sorry?
Metals and trophies have gone down from 902 to 289. What were they?
We produced some medals for Don, or the Navy have always provided them for the Open, but we had them for a couple of other events as well. That's all. And it will go up this year because the Navy won't be supplying medals, so the ASRL will be providing medals this year at a cost of about $6,000, I think. Any other questions? Can I move that the report, do I have to move this? Yep. Move that the report be accepted.
Move Jeff Wilson, second, Alan Griffiths.
And they've been moving that, I want to pay
Think so, Jeff.
recognition to Bristol. They've been doing this job for quite a few years. It's not one of the jobs that people come to do. He's done it, continues to do it, he does it well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Guru.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the election of office bearers for next season. So we've only received one nomination for these positions. So for those who don't know, we turn over half of the committee each season. So this year, the vacant positions would have been President, Secretary, 3 Vice Presidents. So we've received one nomination for each, so myself as President, Natasha on my right as Secretary, Don Cottrell as Vice President, Grant Wilkinson as Vice President, and Jeff Wilson as Vice President. So all people going around again, so there's no voting or anything that needs to happen there. Okay, next item on the agenda. Sorry, I'm just being corrected. I need to move and second that these positions are through. So, of all those positions I just noted, all in favour that those positions go through to next year? All against? 0 carried. Okay, so next item on the agenda is considerations of nominations for life membership. So I'd like to welcome Don Swoop to come up to present the nomination for life membership for Don Cottrell.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah.
Well, I think most of you know who I am. So this gives me great pleasure to put this to the committee in conjunction with Bert Hunt. So Bert Hunt was here. He asked me to go through Don's list of achievements that we put together for him. I might add, Bert did most of this. I stripped a bit out. It's not necessary. So I'll just read through a couple of notes that we put together. So Bert says, it's a great pleasure to nominate Don Cottrell for life membership of the ASRL. Don is the longest serving member of the ASRL committee. As past president of the ASRL, he worked very closely with Don on a wide range of issues to improve the sport. Don was always a great sounding board for ideas and was never afraid to tell you if he didn't agree and follow up with the reason why. Don first joined the ASRL in 2001 and has since served uninterrupted on the committee each year since. He brings to the ASRL committee his business acumen, clear and practical thinking, and a burning desire to make the sport the best it can be for our rowers. He's never afraid to speak his mind and back it up with the reason why. His opinions are well thought out, a reasoning and a trait that makes him great to work with. It's that questioning that helps the ASRL reach better outcomes. Don has sat on many high-level meetings with members of SLSA, from the president down, always pushing the ASRL agenda without fear or favour. Now, I've been in a couple of meetings with Don in this situation, and I can guarantee that is exactly what happens. Don has had positive influence on many achievements of the ASRL as the focus and pressures of our sport changed across the seasons. He was a key player in the introduction of the very things that the membership love about ASRL, helping to deliver a well-run event for all crews. Key roles include the role of event director, where much of the unseen work is done steering a successful major event. Don has made this position his own, and the relatively new role of course manager to help keep as fair a course as possible by working directly with the crews, the boat panel, and the IRB team, where Don was the initial leader. And as a competitor, I can guarantee you that is a big job and very important. Don has also been a top-level surfboat rower. He's possibly one of the best travel club members in the country, boasting membership to at least 12 different clubs. I think Bert was probably a bit light on there, but that's all we could find at the time. Don gained his surf bronze medallion with the Kira Surf Club, 12th of November '89. First rode for Kira for the seasons '89 to '91. Then he transferred to Tuban, where he's part of the Australian Open Men's Championship winning crew in 2002. It pains me to say that, mate. Don has won 2 Queensland Open state titles in the open boat, as well as Australian Masters titles. As a lifesaver, he is a long service member after many years of patrol work. We submit this nomination to the awarding of life membership for the Australian Surf Rowers League to Don Cottrell. Thank you.
Okay, everyone's received a citation for Don. Does anybody have anything to say against the nomination?
Any connections?
It should be compulsory to put an up-to-date photo.
That is up to date.
It is it's an up-to-date photo with a 1970s suit. So can we just have a nomination and a seconder from the floor? Okay, so can we move Don Cottrell be welcomed into the Australian Surf Rowers League life membership? All in favour? Carried. Well done, Don.
You present it and get a photo? After? Okay.
We'll do the...
Yep.
I'd now like to invite Natasha Tunney to the stand to read out the citation for Bristol's, Don Alexander, our treasurer, for life membership.
Okay, so again, I'm reading this on behalf of Bert. So Bert nominated Bruce for the life membership, and that was seconded by Richard Olazinski, so he did down in SA. And I'm just going to read it as written in Bert's words. So it is with great pleasure that I nominate Don Alexander for life membership of the ASRL. It is hard to think of a more worthy candidate for life membership than Don. In my past position as ASRL President, I worked closely with Bristles since he joined the ASRL Committee in 2010. His first position was SA Vice President, and then in the same year, following a resignation, Don assumed the ASRL Treasurer's position. He has served the ASRL well in this role and is still doing so today. Bristles is one of those very special people we get to meet only a few times in our lives. He is dedicated, insightful, cranky, stubborn, I'll back him up on that one, and very loyal. And is all in the correct proportions. If you ask Bristles to take on a task, you can be sure he will attack it with his full attention and to the very best of his ability. He is resourceful and thorough in his approach to the job at hand, and never afraid to give others a shove along if he thinks this is what needed. I think we've all been on the receiving end of those shoves. I'm just going to give a brief outline of Don's involvement with both ASRL and Surf Life Saving in general. He's been an ASRL member since the late 90s. He joined the ASRL committee on the 10th of July 2010 as a vice president. In 2010, he agreed to switch roles on the committee and become the treasurer. In 2011, Don also took on the dual responsibility of becoming the ASRL registrar, which entails managing a database of a few thousand memberships. And Don is still serving in this role in the ASRL membership as treasurer and registrar. As a committee member on the ASRL, Don has been a strong advocate for making changes to surf life saving policies that will benefit the rowers. Don is a key member of the ASRL committee and has played an important role in the introduction of our technology to the sport, including the finish line cameras and live streaming of our events. Don was a foundation member of Southport Surf Club in South Australia in 1959 after a brief stint at Glenelg where he got his bronze. And in 1975, Don was awarded life membership of the Southport Surf Club. As a boat sweep, Don's crews have won SA state championships many times and have represented Surf Life Saving SA in the interstate championships. Don served for over 20 years as treasurer of the ASRL SA and is also serving a 20-year stint at Southport Surf Club as treasurer. Don was inducted into the ASRL SA Hall of Fame in 2010 and he was the inaugural president and served as president of the Surf Life Saving SA Board of Surf Sports between 1994 and 2010. And just to round out his service to surf boats, Don was the SA boat referee for 4 years and also refereed the National Surf Boat Selection Trials in Lura. Very seldom do sporting organisations get the chance to say thank you for your services rendered, and life membership is possibly the highest accolade that we can offer. We submit this nomination for the awarding of life membership of the Australian Surf Rowers League to Don Bristles Alexander.
Okay, so can we get just a show of hands? Yeah, just a show of hands to award Don Bristles Alexander life membership of the ASRL. Carried. Well done, Bristles. Okay, next I'd like to invite Graham Zombie Knox up to the stand to read out the citation for Bob Stone for ASRL life membership.
Michael.
Just switch it on, just push it up.
Thank you, Michael. Hear me? I'd like to nominate Robert Paul Stone, Oatsy, a good mate of mine and a very devoted surf boat man of 60 years. Now, Bob Stone was born in 1944 and is a self-proclaimed that his birth was the reason the Japs surrendered. Bob joined Maroochydore Surf Club in 1957, where he gained his bronze and rode as a junior in the junior boat crew, well, as you did those days. He was a 15-year-old. In doing this, as a 13-year-old, he lived on a pineapple farm at Woombai with his club, with the club man's main sweep. That was Astor. To get to the surf club involved standing on a long line in Brisbane and hitchhiking up to the coast on a Friday afternoon. After a few years, Bob joined Surfers Paradise because they had to go down to Brisbane to row to train, and eventually he had a few rows with He had a row with Surfers Paradise, still a junior. He rode in the A crew under Max Christmas. And Max taught Bob how to sweep. The following year, Max went into real estate. Bob went into sweeping. Pretty clever move, Bob, actually. So the brick theory did apply there. If you don't know what the brick theory is, you haven't rode a surf boat, where they throw the bricks. Max Christmas ducked the brick and went into real estate. Bob stayed with surf boats and went into sweeping. And he's been sweeping ever since, and coaching ever since. His history in surf clubs is long and varied. He joined Maroochydore in 1959, then Surfers, as mentioned. He went to the Sunshine Coast. He came up to North Caloundra, Coolangatta. Then he moved into a business up at Ingham, and moved into Forest Beach Surf Club, and that was the year the League of Rowers started, and Bob was the North Queensland delegate for the Queensland ASRL. The League of Rowers moved in to become the ASRL, and that was in 1993, and Bob was been in the ASRL since the initial year. He was the North Queensland rep for the Queensland ASRL. Noosa Heads, when he came back to the Sunshine Coast, he applied and got the job as the head coach. So he was coaching surf boats at Noosa Head, and is the president of the ASRL Queensland from 1998 to 2014. That's 13 years all told, a long time to be president of an ASRL, I'm here to tell you. He also was awarded life membership of the Queensland ASRL for his work that he did there. He also joined Coolum Beach, and now he's back at Maroochydore. A bit more about those two later. Bob's trained many sweeps. Most noticeable in recent years is David Tomba from the Noosa Heads Club and Michael Brooks from Maroochydore. In previous years he trained many sweeps, including his daughter Trudy. His passion for training sweeps is still strong, and he is always asking young fellows and young club members to give it a go. And I'll teach you everything I know. Without sweeps, Bob reckons there's no surf boats. Pretty bright. Since Surfers Paradise, joining Surfers Paradise at the age of 17, Bob has trained roughly 183 rowers, different crews from all those clubs that he's been in. He's best known for his efforts and dedication within the Rowers League. Bob was the president of the ASRLQ for 13 years and a life member of that association. During his time, the sport is at its most popular in Queensland. The role in those days was a huge and a full-time job. As president and in close conjunction with his committee, Bob was the architect in gaining enormous sponsorship deals. On average, as his time as president of the ASRLQ, they gave away $80,000 in prize money per year. Not bad loot, is it? There are also many cars and boats as sponsorship as well. A lot to do with the CUB company, I believe. As well as providing for the rowers, Bob also ran a committee that obtained a very healthy bank account. They've got trucks, IRBs and many other items for the beach and running a carnival. Bob was also the national president of the ASRL for one season, until he got voted out down at Lawn. His rowing results, his best result in a surf boat was winning the 2000 or 2000 reserve grade Australian Boats Championship at Tarawa, Big Seas, and this was achieved with the Coolum Surf Boat Club, and he shared this result with his son Corey. So as a father-son effort in the reserve grade 2000 Australian Championships. Well done. Bob is also a Queensland representative and won many state titles in all men's divisions. Bob's current role is assisting in coaching a Maroochydore surf boat crews for the river sessions. As previously mentioned, he is still active in coaching sweeps. Bob attends every carnival that his club competes in and is a character in the sport. He was the surf boat SLSA safety officer at the 2018 surf title, Australian titles. Remember that? It's 2018 Aussie titles in Perth. Bob's contribution to surf boats since 1957 is phenomenal, and the work with the ASRL is an achievement that only a few have been able to do, and as life member I nominate and recommend Bob to become also a life member. And that's all I got to say. Bob?
Thanks, Zombie. Can we get a show of hands for the nomination for Bob Stone to be awarded life membership of the ASRL? Carried. Well done, Bob. Okay, next item on the agenda, I'm just going to read out a report on behalf of Kim Marsh for the Hall of Fame. Okay, so this is on behalf of Kim, who is the chairman of the Hall of Fame committee. During the past year, the ASRL Hall of Fame received 2 nominations, one was successful. The ASRL Hall of Fame is the most significant way the surf boat community can recognise boaties in general, not just within the context of the ASRL. It is my understanding the SLSA of Australia only recognises the achievement of surf boat rowers of an open crew who win 3 consecutive Australian championships with the exact same crew. The ASRL Hall of Fame is based on competitive success as well as other contributions to surf boats within a national context. The current guidelines can be viewed on the ASRL Hall of Fame policy document. It outlines the nomination procedure and selection criteria. The selection of the Hall of Fame is considered by 4 members of the ASRL Hall of Fame and the President of the ASRL. Voting must be unanimous for a nomination to be successful. It can be difficult serving on the ASRL Hall of Fame committee as the surf boat community is a small one. Often the committee is asked to thanklessly consider nominations of friends and acquaintances. It is critical of the committee members are impartial. Rejection of a nomination is understandably often met with disappointment, but on occasions committee members have been treated unfairly by dissatisfied nominators. An argument often levelled when a nomination is not successful is comparison to people who are already members of the ASRL Hall of Fame. This seems to be a reasoned way of thinking. However, current committees have no control over the validity or otherwise of the past selections. Future Hall of Fame committees must continue the work of recent ones within the ASRL guidelines to ensure the integrity of the ASRL Hall of Fame. I'm satisfied the current committee of ASRL President Michael Brooks, Natalie Gardner, Steve Blewett, Steve Swain and Kim Marsh have performed with wisdom and impartiality on behalf of the ASRL committees. Thank you, Kim Marsh. Okay, so next item, it is my pleasure to announce that the Hall of Fame has had a successful nomination, and jumping straight to it, and I'll read it out, but it is a great honour to advise the surfboat community of Australia that the recent inductee to the Hall of Fame is Sarah Weston. So Sarah was nominated by Joe and seconded by Alan Griffiths. So I'll quickly read out the nomination that we received from Alan Griffiths, and then I'll jump to Sarah's a brief but unbelievable summation of her results on the beach. So this is from Alan Griffiths. So history. Sarah obtained her bronze medallion in '97 with the Alex Surf Club, and it wasn't until she met her husband Brendan and joined Bar that she started getting serious about surfboat rowing after she had spent a couple of years competing for Alex. It was from 2006 that Sarah, a member of the Bar Open Women's crew with Brendan Weston as their suite, created a dynasty for women's surfboat rowing. In 2006 until 2013, Sarah won 3 Aussie gold medals. From 2013 to 2017, she left rowing to have 2 children. In that period, donated one of her kidneys to Brendan, who required a transplant. In 2017, she was invited by Damien Claypan to join Northcliffe and row with his women's boat crew. She accepted the offer and won 2 more Aussie golds in 2018 and 19. Sarah has won 5 Aussie gold medals for rowing, more than any other competitor, male or female. Sarah's achievements as a surfboat rower is attached. I'll read that. Sarah has been a tireless worker for the Bar Club, being secretary for 2 years during the time she wasn't competing. She also hosted many fundraising events, including annual dinners. With regards to development and coaching, Sarah is always helping out rowers in the gym, training and rowing techniques. She doesn't hesitate to get in the boat with junior rowers, especially girls, to help pass on her knowledge of rowing. If you ask Sarah what drives her, she would say determination. It is with pleasure that we provide you with details of Sarah's outstanding contribution to the sport. That was received by Alan Griffiths, and we also received a summation of her achievements from Joe, and it went to the committee, and you'll know the success. But I want to quickly put this in context. So Sarah's won 5 Open Australian titles, 1 silver Australian titles in the Opens, and 1 bronze in the Opens. That's 7 medals, and once we looked between the lines, we worked out quickly that Sarah only has ever contested 7 Australian titles. So every year, Sarah's walked away with her Open crew getting a medal and 5 of them gold. Sarah's also represented Australia in the Open and won world titles. We don't know how many state titles are in here, Sarah? 3. That's not very good. But it's the opinion of the Hall of Fame committee that Sarah, with those results in the Open division, is quite possibly, and of the opinion of the Hall of Fame, the greatest rower of all time. So congratulations, Sarah, on becoming the Hall of Fame, and it's very well earned. We do have certificates and trophies as well. We can get some photos, but while we're live on the web, we might keep moving. That chewed up some time. Went through the first 5 agenda points pretty quick. Okay, so so we need to redo or do the Hall of Fame committee for the next year. We've received from the current Hall of Fame committee, even though they can't be here today, they've all expressed interest in going around again. That is Kim Marsh, Natalie Gartner, Steve Swain and Steve Blewett. The Hall of Fame policy is for 4 members plus the ASRL president. So that's currently filled, but do we have any other nominations to be added to the Hall of Fame committee? No? Okay, so can we just get a show of hands? Oh, so we need
Members nominated be elected.
can somebody move a motion for the, I'll move a motion that the current Hall of Fame committee retain their positions and go around again. So, all in favour? Carried. Okay.
You can decide at the delegate meeting.
Okay, so next item on the agenda is the setting for the fees for next year for membership in the Open. So the state-based membership for those who have Navy series within the states is $25, and then the other nomination is included with the nomination and fees paid to the ASRL Open. So the committee has decided to retain and not increase the fees for next year, which is highlighted by the juniors getting free nomination to the Open. Okay, so next item on the agenda. Yeah, no?
Just clarify that in our minutes here it says that last year's fees were $40 per member, but we're proposing, the committee's proposing a $50 fee per member. So just a point of order there that we're not keeping it the same, we're putting it to $50.
It was 50 last year, but we discussed, no, it was 40, but it was to be confirmed post at our committee meeting, and it went to 50.
Okay, so next we'll move to general business for anything to do with the committee, and then we'll move to a quick forum for general surf boat questions after that. So
those fees have been accepted.
So does anybody have any general business they'd like to bring up? Yes, Nobby.
You hold it. Give it a mic.
I suppose people that want to be knowing about Ocean Thunder this year. The sponsorship, I talked to Zachary yesterday actually, and he tells me that he hasn't got any sponsorship, but he has sent out expressions of interest to all clubs, and he's getting positive responses. I must add that there's been no responses at all from Queensland clubs, but he has been getting New South Wales and the Victorians. If he gets enough crews in, the event will be on. If not, well, he'll pull the pin on it. So he asked why there's no Queensland nominations. There may be a reason for it, I don't know, but he will run the event if there's enough crews showing expressions of interest. And those sheets have gone out, so get them in quick smart for Ocean Thunder 2020. While I'm on the speak.
Yep.
Yeah. Can you fill me in on the what's happening with the announcing team this year at the ASRL and the Australian national titles?
All right, we'll jump to that. Zombie 1 second. So, is there any other general business as far as the Surf Rollers League Committee is concerned? No? Okay, alright, well that's done. So I'll just declare that the Australian Surf Rollers League AGM closed for 2019. Okay, now we're going to start a quick forum, Zombie. So that, to answer your question there, I think your main issue is the infrastructure on the day between the beach commentary team and the live stream commentary team. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, last year's the final day of the Aussies, we had a donger, which was you couldn't have swing a cat in, but we had 4 announcers in there, and then the live stream announcers come in to the same donger, talking over the beach announcers, and wasn't a very good ask. I mean, the live streaming knew that they'd be going to the Australian titles. You think they could have applied to get a donger of their own.
Yeah, so Tommy, you're talking about at Aussies only?
The Asrl as well.
Okay, well the beach commentary was on the beach at the open, the live stream was on the veranda at Allura, so I think you're talking about Aussies.
Yeah, what I've been told, it wasn't a really good look. They were drinking on the veranda. A lot of them didn't do too much research into the cruise, and it looked pretty amateur, if you get what I mean.
Alright.
That's the ASRL, but I don't know how you're going to, we don't run the national championships, but I think the live stream should look into getting a donger of their own.
So there's a list of recommendations for infrastructure, what we required at Aussies to accommodate for everyone, particularly the finish line stuff as well. We didn't get exactly what we were chasing there, and that's why the problems arose. We've already done reviews with SLSA for infrastructure next year, and we do need to get more to separate those 2 teams. The focus for infrastructure at Aussies next year at the moment is to ensure that the backup venues have the infrastructure as well. So once we can jump that hurdle, we need to get back onto them and ensure that we get enough space to run those 2 separate teams without them clashing. There was no real way out of it at Aussies this year because of the sensitive, like the weather can't touch any of the gears, so only that single donger that was there was no way out of it at this year. But it came from us not getting the required space that we're after, but we're onto that. But the focus at the moment is just get that backup infrastructure sorted.
Okay. Can I reply to the comments about the lack of research? I think the information that I guess the guys that we had was from a beach commentator anyway, who was using, I guess, the same amount of notes, and I think that there's probably a different element that they might be focusing on in terms of, we had 2 current suites in there, I guess, that might have known about their certain areas, and I think we have a big focus on kind of bringing people in from other states who have local knowledge as well. But we did have a Bible, I guess, that a beach commentator did do for us, so hopefully I hope we didn't put any disrespect by having dodgy commentary. But I don't think there was a lack of research at all.
Can I just comment on that as well? I agree with some of what you're saying there. So we can always do better.
Yeah.
I know that Rippo and yourself, Mike Cameron as well, very well researched, very knowledgeable in regards to your history in the sport. It is a different feel, a live stream. It's a younger commentator, and they don't commentate like you guys do. That's a fact, and I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, but it's a different pitch. It's to a different audience, and it's always going to be different to the beach commentary guys. In regards to the beer sitting on the table, absolutely, positively agree with you. It was a bad look. Won't happen again. And certainly, if we can get a bit more research into the commentators at the Asrl Agm, we will. So that's certainly taken on board. In regards to the Aussies, certainly wasn't the live stream commentators that wanted to sit in the donga with you and your fellow commentators and get told to be quiet every now and then when we're commentating as well. It was out of our control. It was surf life saving. It was a last minute thing. We got told to show up there on the Sunday. We rock up and
You did not,
yeah, just in regards to the live stream of the Australian titles, it certainly wasn't a live stream, guys. It wanted to be sitting there in the dock with you guys getting told to be quiet as well. It was a surf life saving thing. They were unorganised. We rocked up on the Saturday to try and find out where we were sitting. We got told we'd been in the dock with you. You know, I went up there and spoke to you guys about that and said this is going to work. We tried our best to accommodate it. In the end, just with the way the technology ran out, that's where we had to be. And certainly it's not desirable from our point of view either, and let's hope that changes next year.
What was the response from Surf Life Saving for next year? Like when you went and did the review, what was their attitude to it at that stage? Were they responsive to issues?
Yep. Yeah, so they've been pretty well open ears, but we've also advised nothing that's new to them either. This was all provided, you know, this is what we need prior to the event, and what we get is slightly different. So we can only just sort of stay on them. They definitely are listening, and they're all open ears, but it's just sort of implementation of what we requested prior that we don't get often, which is disappointing. But yeah, this year's focus was definitely around you know, the infrastructure not being at our backup venue. So that was our main problem with that. What we got down at Broadbeach was pretty fine, except for that space for the live stream and the finish line teams.
Michael, have you got? Thank you.
Do you know how to use that?
Sorry?
Do you know how to use that?
Michael, you, well, I was one of the focal people in this presentation of beach broadcasting this year at the Nationals, and I wrote a fairly extensive report on it, of which you've got a copy. Have you got it there?
No, I don't have it. No.
Well, that's a shame. I didn't bring my copy either, but I think Diane's covered it pretty well in as much that Surf Life Saving appeared to have some work to do to iron out who's doing the on-beach broadcasting, whether it be the presentations group under Tony Henderson, or whether it be make a specialty of presentation, and I agree with that. I think the presentations group should do it, because I think referees and their assistants have got plenty to do, especially at the national championships earlier this year with the seas the way they were. Charlie was involved in meetings with our surf boat panel for many hours over the period of the week. And in the circumstances, I do agree that Surf Life Saving appeared to get to know that the ASRL led live streamers needed accommodation. And I put a lot of time into trying to find out who was at fault. I believe in live streaming. I think live streaming is futuristic. I believe it's progressive. But in the distorted, unplanned merging of the two groups at the last Nationals, it was disgusting. For many weeks after the titles, people would stop me. Like I mixed with the surf boat fraternity, they'd stop me and say, what's happened to what happened to the beach announcing? We could hear the live streamers in the background, and you know, the live streamers, no doubt, people listening to the live streaming would no doubt hear us. We were a metre and a half apart And, you know, it just doesn't work. And I do believe, though, that the basic error, and I can't get anybody to put their hand up and say, hey, it was me, I'll do it better next time. It was the mere fact that Surf Lifesaving hadn't planned any involvement with the live streaming. And just to make it more clear for you people here, they have live streaming in the main competition area where they do, you know, beach sprints, Ironman, surf belt, I don't know if it was in more surf races, and I think they do it very, very well, especially in the presentation type of thing. And I do remember, and you were a boy, but Marigi or Bob would remember, with the Sun 10 carnivals, it was the best club run carnival in Australia, and the presentation of the surf boat crews to compete in each of the events that were on then, only about 3 different varieties, they were done wonderfully. They would introduce the crews, the individual members. They'd march in, sometimes they'd bring the boats in on a trailer, otherwise the boats would be already positioned there, and as the crews, this is for the finals, as the crews would march in from the perimeter of the competition area, and they would take their places, and it was really well done. And the live streaming now in the beach, in the main commentary area, is done in a very similar mode. I think we could learn a lot of that if we want to promote our sport. We've got to do it nicely. Now, to do it nicely under the type of situation that I've described, it's going to take time. So the first thing you've got to do is convince the referees that we want time to introduce these people. Because if you don't, they'll be firing the gun, marching the crews. They just want to get on with it and give the crews as many races as they possibly can, but something will have to be sacrificed if we're going to do it properly. And I would like the message from the Asrl to Surf Lifesaving that needs to do it properly. It's a great sport, and we want to promote it as well as we can.
Absolutely, thanks for that, Griffo. So your report is, I've got your report, and it's straight in for next year's planning for our advice to give to Surf Lifesaving on all things Aussies, including, you know, all that. I think everyone knows that the lost days and the rush and the moves and everything completely threw a spanner in the works of this year's title, but the presentations does need to be the pinnacle and done better. Hopefully next year we're not in so much of a rush. But yeah, that's where we're putting an extensive list of requests and recommendations for what should go into a good Aussies. Also in next year's Aussies, we've got Anzac Day on Saturday. There's a committee sorting that out. I can foresee now with that hasn't met. I'm on that. It hasn't met yet, but timing for next year's title is going to be an issue. So we need to give ourselves time so we're not rushing and missing, you know, traditional prestige things like you mentioned. Bristles?
Could I just say, I couldn't get to the Aussies this year, so I was sitting at home watching the live stream, and while I appreciate what John was saying, I had to congratulate my mate here, and I don't do it that often, do I? But I rang him up and said I thought his commentary was just exceptional. I think he did a fantastic job. And he hadn't done it before. He just got there and rocked it off, and it was really terrific sitting back, watching and listening to what they were saying. So I thought the live stream was pretty good of the Aussies, to be honest with you.
So before, I can answer pretty much many questions, but I'll just jump in before other things come up. I just want to announce that we've been very fortunate to have the Navy on board, as everybody knows. It's a great delight, pleasure to announce to everyone that that is going to continue. Our friend over here, Don Hogarth from the Navy, is the orchestrator behind that. So thank you, Don, for everything you do. You can see people in the room around Australia what we can do with the money that you source for us. So it's been fantastic in the last couple of years. It's going to continue for 3 years, hopefully further. So can we just get a round of applause for Don? Okay, so what I might do is to keep it moving a bit quick. I might just run through some ballpark things that we've done and worked on, and then everyone can come back and fire a heap of questions at me, and we'll go from there. So we had our annual forum this year at Queenscliff. So we went over quite a few items. First one we went over was the technology. Bert Hunt is continuing a project that he started a while ago and putting the surf hazard rating that everyone, the draws system as well. We've so we did a bit of a promotion and a run through of how that works. Everyone loved it, so we just want to make sure that anybody who's got any questions, oh that's great, we don't know how to use it, to quickly come to your representative for how to use the draw system, and we'll get you trained up and do whatever it takes to get that in every carnival. We also down there we did a group session on sweeps development. So that was all pretty good. We all learned a few good ideas from everyone. So we mixed everyone up in different tables and got ideas. That went really well. One thing that we've followed up recently as this week with SLSA is to try and condense and streamline the online development course, because that can be a bit of a deterrent for people to become sweeps. So we're trying to come up with a new course to make life easier on that part. We went over the statistics with Asrl Lamb does all of that. Overall, the statistics in boats are better than all other disciplines. We're seeing growth in some divisions and a decline in others, but overall comparative for surf life saving, the boats are going okay. The big one that we've been working on the last couple of weeks is a short course. So from the forum, it was pretty much unanimous that they wanted the short course to be removed from the current Aussies as it is, but remain a national title we done earlier in the year. That's been received well at SLSA, and they're looking at making that happening. Asrl will put their hand up to run that event, do everything required for it. We should get feedback on that pretty shortly, and the date for that is either going to be, I think, the 18th or the Australia Day weekend. We don't know. So we're still working that out, but it looks like there will be a national title in January, which is a short course. So that's probably all I can pretty much yell out. Does anyone have any questions on any of those topics or any more? Yes, Bob?
This live stream, who pays for the live stream?
So at the Open, it's incorporated in your nominations at the Open. At Aussies, it's obviously in your nominations as well, but we don't have anything to do with the live stream. All we did this year was provide the commentators. Yeah,
because the thing that I was sitting up with Griffo and Longley there having a chat to them, and they were doing
No, it's online.
So I was there, and they're in the middle of a race, and they just get cut off.
Is this our Open or Aussies? Was this at the Aussies or at the Open?
This is the Aussies one.
Aussies, okay.
Yeah, the Aussies, yeah. And it was just like they're commentating, and you can hear them on the microphones, and then all of a sudden, boop, they're talking into nothing. So
the live stream at Aussies is disjointed because it's a blend of two parties trying to get it sorted. We offered to tender to do the live stream at Aussies, was declined. We were only accepted in providing the commentary. It's seen from our Asrl to be imperative that gets done properly, especially from the Perth titles where we just basically didn't get anything. We got a camera between a palm tree from 300 metres away, so we were jumping up and down a fair bit after that. So we did get our fair share of live stream this year, but there was still two different parties sorting it out. The kids didn't get a fair run with the live stream down at Perth, at Kira, sorry. I was fortunate that our guy who does all the finish line had enough gear to record the junior finals down there, which was good that we got something, but it was still disappointing that we couldn't, that backup beach was not set up for that as well. So we're going to try and get further involvement in it next year to iron out these bugs, but yeah, I don't want to wipe our hands of it, but at Aussies we're not in control.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, Michael, I want to find out who buys or who pays for them, and if we're putting money into it, we need Life Saving's not happy with that, then we should put our hand up and see what, if we don't want to pay for it, so especially in our boat section, that we get the right formula going in the commentary.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, any other?
Just before you, we race off out of that one, and I'll be very happy when we do. But the rest of the situation, I think, has almost come to a conclusion, and it must will always be two groups, like the live streaming people in Las Vegas or Denmark or wherever else the live streaming goes to. They're not interested in lost dogs, lost children, come up and pull a marble out of the hat, all that sort of crap. So there will always be, I think, until somebody invents a magic box that can switch that stuff out and leave the live streaming in. And that's not invented at this particular point in time. I think it's almost concluded, as I said, that there will always be two groups. Okay?
Okay.
But we did trial at the national selection event, combining them in one, so the commentary and the live stream all as one. It doesn't work. So they do need to stay separate.
Question online about the Open. And that's all I'll say.
Okay, so the Open is not 100% confirmed. All 99% was across the line for Browley. There's been recent developments internally at Browley only that have stopped the event from being at Browley. We had all parties on board, but we can no longer go to Browley. We're quickly arranging a second venue, and we are 90 are going to Mollymook. So it's an hour up the road from Browley and an hour closer to Sydney. It looks likely. We've got approvals from the governments, our sponsors. The club itself is nearly across the line. We just need a couple more official bits of on paper confirmation, but it looks likely that we'll be going to Mollymook. Same date, second week, 15th, 16th, 14th to 16th of February. Yeah, Joe?
Has any discussion been made about age groups and categories?
Yep, so at the forum we brought up again, the only alternative was to change the junior division from 19s back to 18s and the 23s back to 21s. It came up and it was pretty much unanimous that everyone attending the forum want to leave the divisions as they are. The only item that the division's up for review is on a national level in the Masters, which is to remove the 120s and 140s out of Masters and start Masters at 160s. It's based on the amount of nominations seen at these events at the state titles and the Australian titles is not well attended in the 120s and 140s age groups. So the Masters is the only divisions in review.
That's right. I'm against it, it doesn't matter. I think we should have a go under 18s.
it's probably something that we'll probably leave for a couple of years now, because there's a few people that do feel that way, and yeah, it was brought up, and we got quite a resounding result just to leave it as it is.
Michael, has it ever been considered that you'd get rid of the under 23s and you'd go from under 19s to reserve grade and A grade? I mean, a under 23 bloke rowing in an A bracket, get a heart.
Yeah, look, that plenty of people have your view there, Bob. But like I said, we've done the review in it, and it's going to remain as it is.
All you do is boost your other two divisions. They'd either go to reserve grade or A grade, which would strengthen those two divisions. By having under 23, you're weakening those other divisions.
So Bob, you're proposing that 19-year-old girls should be racing against open women's
I didn't
crews?
say that. I said keep under 19s.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that
She
if
could
you're
go to
19 years of age, you don't get into 19, you don't get into the under 19 division.
She could go to reserve grade. You're not listening. She could go to reserve grade or A grade. We've done it over years. Years it's worked beautifully. But we bring in an extra division. I don't know why you want to put the burden on officials and everybody else by having another division. Go under 19, go under 20 if you like. Under 20, reserve grade, A grade.
Yeah, look, it's been reviewed. We've put it out to quite a few people, even in surveys in previous years, and the majority is to leave it as they are. We won't look at it again for a couple of years because of the.
It's well supported.
We're going to write under 23 in the coffin.
Bob, it's well supported amongst our fraternity to have the age groups that we've got and the equality in the age groups that we've got as well. So, unfortunately, your view is not representative of the majority of our members.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. Put this in the chair later.
Yeah, we'll just have a look at the decline in the open women.
Yeah, have a look at it. That's what you're not looking at.
There's no open women, they'd rather a reserve grade.
Your comments there, Zombie. We know that as a committee that there's a crossover of people that should be probably in opens. We don't think that we can wield the big stick to get it to happen. What we want to do is to really highlight the prestige of opens and put that on its pedestal that it deserves, to encourage people to go there. But to genuinely fix it and get people back there is just to race in reserve. You know, there'll be a lot of crews at this year's Aussies in reserve grade that would have been quite happy to go to opens in those conditions. When we keep running to the flat, you're not going to have people go up to opens. So surf and make it prestigious and try and get more people back into opens.
Why don't you put them all in together, open and reserve, on a point score system, and then the top six are open with A crew and
yeah, look, it's
six are reserve.
in theory that could work, but sweeps that have crews in both divisions would have to choose.
More sweeps.
Yeah.
So in South Australia, I cap the open women's division to 7. So there's always the top 7 crews, and the reserve grades everyone else, and those bottom finishes in open women.
Top 7?
So it's off their performance. So they'll enter in first carnival. If I get 8 or 9 entries, knowing the crews in the state, I'll ask some to bump down to reserve grade, and the results out of that first carnival, if there's clear winners in reserve grade women, they'll get bumped up, and the bottom in opens will get bumped down. And I do that throughout the season to keep it a good hot 7. I don't want to go into heats in the open women because then it muddies the water a bit. They don't get to race each other. So to keep the open women competitive, it's the top 7.
Throw that into the forum.
That's a state by state.
That's just how South Australia is doing it.
It's just a state by state initiative. Any other questions, surf boat wise? That's good because the food's getting cold, so if everyone can swarm over to the food, and we'll close off the forum.